Friends, do you suffer from uncontrollable longing for someone who barely knows that you're alive? Are you unable to get over that breakup even after months or years? Do you have that sinking feeling that nobody in the world could be as right for you or mean as much to you as she does? Are you afraid that this was your last chance for true love? Then you, my friend, may suffer from a disease known as Oneitis. Symptoms include heart palpitations, hopelessness, anxiety, terminal loneliness, embarrassing Spotify playlists, failed romantic relationships, and a tendency to seek out porn stars that look like your ex. But there's hope. Stay tuned for a special offer that's guaranteed to cure your Oneitis today.
Side effects may include feeling like an idiot, desperately trying to hide those mopey-ass Tumblr posts, and a desire to build a time machine to go back and kick your own ass.
Hey everyone, Harris O'Malley from DrNerdLove.com, and this week I have a question for you. How many of you have that one person that you just can't get over? Maybe there's someone that you dated and the breakup just ruined you. Or maybe you never dated them. Maybe you just didn't have the guts to make your move. Perhaps you did ask them out, but they gave you the "let's just be friends" speech. Or maybe you never said a word and you just longed for them from a distance. Regardless of how it happened, that person remains the one, the perfect person, the only one that you could ever truly love. Nothing compares to them. They inspire the sorts of feelings that can only be summed up by chocolate commercials in the 80s. And really, where else are you going to find someone who can do that? You are obsessed with everything that she does. You stalk her Instagram and her Twitter to see what she's doing. And let's be real, if she's still dating old what's-his-name, your every thought is about how to win her over or back. You've thought of everything from grand romantic gestures to passive-aggressive social media posts. You may even have gone in for the platonic best friend backdoor gambit. You even neglect chances to find someone else. Maybe you're staying true to them and you couldn't dream of being with anyone else. Maybe you're just trying to date around, but you know in your heart of hearts that you would toss your current squeeze aside if your one ever came around. Meanwhile, everyone that you know is telling you to just get over her. Well, everyone with some sense. There's always going to be that one asshole who will tell you to never give up. But let's be real. If it were that easy to just get over someone, I'd be out of a job. Part of what makes it so hard to cure that case of Oneitis is how much bad advice there is out there. One of the eternal examples is that in order to get over someone, you have to get under someone else. Or several someones. In fairness, there is something to be said for reminding yourself that other people find you attractive and that there are other amazing women out there. But this doesn't actually fix things. Many people who suffer from Oneitis will sleep around, even date while they're still hung up on that other person. But ultimately, it leaves them feeling hollow and empty because, well, it's not her. And to be perfectly honest, using women as an emotional band-aid is a really thing to do. And yes, there's always the go out and glow up option where you throw all of your energy into getting stupid hot in the name of sweet, sweet revenge. But this can actually make things worse. You're not doing it for yourself or because you wanted to improve. You're doing it because you are still looking for validation from her. And when it doesn't work, and spoiler alert, it won't, then you're only going to end up even more depressed. The problem is that, at best, these sorts of solutions only treat the symptoms. They never get to the source of Oneitis. It's not that you need to your way into not caring or get really buff and make her jealous. If you want to get over your ex, your might have been, or your never was, then you need to understand the root causes of why you can't let go. And the truth is, the issue isn't with the person. It's with what she represents. The reason why it's often so hard to let go is because it means of letting go for what she stands for in your life. For some, it's a matter of validation. By dating her, you're showing that you're the sort of person who can get a girl like her. You're someone who has enough skill, enough game, or enough social value that you can be with a woman of that quality. Sometimes it's a matter of wish fulfillment. Your one is someone who represents some part of you that you feel is missing or you wish that you had. This is the manic pixie dream girl of Oneitis, the hope that this woman will somehow transform you into the man that you want to be. She'll draw you out of your shell, teach you how to be more assertive and outgoing, and make you into the kind of man that you think you always should have been. Or maybe she represents an entry into a world that you wish that you could be part of. Whether it's a desire to be a part of a particular community, whether you want access to a specific kind of lifestyle, or even just to join a particular social circle, she is as much of a gateway as she is a person. And for some, she represents scarcity. In this case, the problem isn't the woman, but her rejection of him. In his mind, she's the last person in the world that stands between him and a lifetime alone. She's the only one who he could love, or who could ever love him. Except she isn't.
My own Oneitis was very much about what it said about me. She was the hot, nerdy girl who introduced me to cool new music and books I'd never tried before. At the time when we were dating, I thought we had it all. My dream girl, my dream job, my dream life. And then I got fired from my dream job, and my dream girl broke up with me less than 2 weeks later, and honestly, if my car had broken down or my cat had died, I would have had to have learned blues guitar and become a country singer-songwriter or something. I got hung up on her because I thought all of this said something about me. If I could just get her back, then everything would be okay, because then I would still be the guy who had the cool girlfriend. But since she didn't want to actually date me, I decided to pretend that I was over her and to just be friends. This worked about as well as you might think.
The thing to keep in mind is that understanding why you're still hung up on someone isn't gonna be what fixes you. It just gives you a direction to turn to when you want to start the process. The first step to actually curing Oneitis is that you need to find your own internal validation. Part of why we get so hung up on that one person is because they represent an external source of validation. We don't trust in our own value or our worth, so we look to others, either to provide it via transference or to reassure us over and over again, yes, we do indeed have value. But either way, an external source of validation is one that will never fully satisfy you. And worse, it's one that you can't rely on. As long as you're dependent on someone else for validation, you will always be at risk of losing that source. You need to learn how to find your own value instead of expecting others to provide it for you. You have to ask yourself, what are the things that bring you satisfaction in your life? What are the things that you have accomplished, that you have seen or done that you can be proud of? And since I can already hear you yelling at your phones and your computers, if you don't have anything cool in your life or you don't have anything that you're proud of, then go build it. And if you need help, then pause this and check the show notes. I've got a link to a worksheet that will help you find your own value. If you want to get over someone, then you have to start by being proactive and taking control instead of just being a bystander in your own life. And this is important because it leads to the next step. You need to become the person you think you would be if you were dating her. Whatever aspect of your life you think is missing, that X factor that she would provide, you have to be the one to provide it.
You complete me.
No, wrong. Your relationship should complement you, not complete you. The less that you rely on others to make your life perfect, the easier it is to come to any relationship with someone as an equal. If they're the one thing that makes your life happy or perfect or desirable, then you will always be waiting for the other shoe to drop. When someone is your only key to happiness or fulfillment, then the potential of losing them presents you with an existential threat. On the other hand, being secure in your own happiness, knowing that without them that you'll be okay and you still have a great life, means that you're able to feel secure and be in the moment instead of always being on the lookout for what may or may not happen. You also have to cultivate an abundance mentality. What makes Oneitis so difficult to shake is the one.
Believing that amazing women who you're compatible with and who like you are a limited and shrinking resource means that you are going to be prone to overinvesting in each person that you try to date because they represent a dwindling number of chances for you to find love. And if this person doesn't love you, then you're just one step closer to being forever alone. And honestly, when you see someone as the only person who could make you happy, who could love you, or who you could love, you are not only inviting anxiety and insecurity into your life, but you're forcing them to take on a terrible responsibility and burden. And even if they were interested in maybe possibly someday dating you, that's going to scare them right the hell off. If you are going to get over someone, then you have to learn to develop an abundance mentality. Now, in fairness, that can be difficult, especially when there are legitimate demographic issues that may limit the number of potential partners in your immediate area. But as amazing as your one may be, there are millions of others out there who are just as amazing, if not more so. There is no one, there are many. You don't have a soulmate, you have many potential soulmates. But to find them, you have to be willing to put yourself out there, especially without investing so much in any one person right off the bat. You have to go out, you have to take risks, you have to risk getting rejected, and take more chances. That includes taking chances not just on people you might otherwise think are out of your league, but also on people you might otherwise overlook. Even when you're not dealing with Oneitis, it's very easy to get tunnel vision. When you are focused like a laser on one person or one type, then you end up not being able to see anyone. Now, the next step is tough. You have to learn to let it go. The more that you hold on to hope that maybe someday they'll come around, the less you're going to succeed. And to be perfectly blunt, this includes when you're trying to just be friends. More often than not, being friends is an excuse to hold on, and a way for you to try to pull the platonic best friend backdoor gambit.
You can drain my energy anytime, Chef.
If seeing them with somebody else is going to shred your soul every time, then you're not in a place where you can really be a friend to them. All you're doing is setting yourself up for the longest, slowest heartbreak in history. As harsh as it may sound, you really can't have any sort of honest relationship with someone if you're constantly holding out hope that things will change and they'll finally love you. Letting go is especially important if she's your ex. You need to relearn who you are without her in your life. This is hard, especially if you've been together for a long time, but as much as it hurts, you will learn how to live as yourself, not as half of a couple that no longer exists. And in letting go, then over time, your relationship will have the chance to become what it's meant to be, even if it means that there won't be one. Now, the last thing that you have to do is honestly the hardest, and it trips a lot of people up. You have to practice some radical forgiveness. You have to be willing to forgive her for breaking your heart, especially if she doesn't know that she did that. A lot of cases of Oneitis are just loneliness mixed with resentment. It's less that you want her back so much as that you want to win. That's not healthy for you, that's not healthy for her, and it is poison for any relationship you'll want to have in the future. Forgiving her in your heart, because seriously, you don't need to tell her, means that you are letting go of the pain and the resentment, and you're creating room in your life for you to move forward. But you also have to forgive yourself. It's hard to let go, especially after you've been holding on for so long. And part of why we hold on for so long is because we don't want to admit that it's hopeless and that we've made a mistake and that we stayed in for longer than we should. But at the end of the day, you know this can't happen. So let go and forgive yourself for loving not too wisely, but too well.
As hard as getting over my own case of Oneitis was, it ultimately put me on the path to who I am today. Trying to win her back only made me miserable, so I had to let go for my own sanity. I had to change.
I got better, and I became better. And ironically enough, by letting go and curing my own case of Oneitis, she and I eventually reconnected, and now we're pretty good friends. But it's an honest friendship, instead of my trying to backdoor my way into her life and her pants. And it's a friendship that I couldn't have had before now. Yes, it's hard to let go of the ones that might have been, the never were's, and the ones that didn't last. But it's necessary. While letting go may hurt, it will make you happier. And in the end, it'll make you better. Hey, thanks for checking out my latest video. So, you've heard my story, now I want to hear yours. If you have wrestled with Oneitis and you've gotten over it, then I want to hear all about it. Share your story in the comments below. And hey, if you have a short dating question or a topic you'd like to hear more about on here, then let me know that too. You can share that in the comments as well, or you can send that to me at doc@drnerdlove.com, and be sure to put "for YouTube" in the subject header. Meanwhile, if you want to get better at getting numbers and turning them into dates, then you need to check out my newest book, I Got Her Number, Now What? It's time for you to turn texting from something stressful and confusing and into your dating superpower. Links to buy it are in the show notes, so go check it out. And if you do check it out, be sure to rate and review it on Amazon and Goodreads. If you're digging the series, then you already know what to do. You've been here before, you've done it all. Hit that thumbs up, let me know, ring the bell, share it with all your friends. If you are really enjoying these videos, if you feel like you're getting a lot out of it, you're finding that it's really helping, and you want to support the channel, then consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/drnerdlove. Even $1 is a huge help, but starting at $3 a month, not only are you helping support the channel, but you are getting some awesome bonuses like exclusive content. And at $5, you're getting bonus episodes and access to the patron-only Discord server. And as I always say, I can't do this without the support of my patrons, so whether you have just joined me or you've been a patron from the beginning, thank you so very much. Meanwhile, you can follow me on Twitter at @DrNerdLove. Keep up with the latest news by joining the Facebook page at facebook.com/DrNerdLove. And as always, hit that logo to subscribe, check out my other videos, and I will see you here next time with more about love, sex, and dating. Later.